Mr. Alagri, you can start.
Okay, Sagar, we can start now.
Yeah. Once again, I welcome you, Mr. Alagri, for the third one-day webinar on Industry 4.0, and I welcome all the participants, and I hope you will enjoy this lecture. And I request Mr. Alagri to continue this webinar, please.
Thanks, Dr. Sagar. Good evening to everyone. Thanks for joining this call. This is the third and last session for the current series. And the first session we've seen the fundamentals about Industry 4.0. And the last session we've seen two important components called as blockchain and data science. And we try to complete three more components like IoT, 3D printing, and one more component. But unfortunately, we couldn't able to complete due to time constraint. And today's session, we are going to see what is the current Industry 4.0 trend in the world and our country in India, and what could be the future strategy roadmap for the Industry 4.0, and the opportunities for anyone want to get into Industry 4.0. Yeah. So if you talk about the world status, this graph is given by Confederation of Indian Industry as well as Grant Thornton. So Grant Thornton is one of the world's largest management consulting firm. As per this report is taken on 2016 because the current report is yet to be published by these two companies. And as per this report, the India is 91 position in terms of Network Readiness Index. This index denotes a country's readiness for digital transformation. Okay, and the Singapore, as usual, hold a number one position in the world, and many Asia Pac countries you can see from here, and unfortunately India is in 91 position. Okay, so if you see world, the German industry is really leading the way for Industry 4.0, and in fact they already invested 40 billion euros on the current year for the companies like BMWs and Daimlers and Volkswagen. Yeah. And the US economy, they are going to implement $215 billion for Industry 4.0. Yeah, we see Indian status in the coming slides. Okay. So having said that, across the world, this movement is going very strong, and it is getting stronger day by day. Okay. And this report again, the global CEO survey, yeah, and published by Deloitte Consulting Firm, the top 3 consulting firm in the world. And as on 2016 index, okay, and India occupied 11th position in terms of global competitiveness index, manufacturing competitiveness. Okay. And as per this global CEO's perspective, on 2020, the current year, the India going to occupy the 4th position in the world. See from here, on 2016, India was in 11th position, and as on this year, India is going to occupy 5th position. Okay. So having said that, what is in trends? The Indian CEOs and global CEOs, they got a lot of optimism about Indian companies' willingness to adopt Industry 4.0. Okay. Come to the Indian status, I think all of us know the Indian government, the central government of India, and all citizens like you and me, we want to make our country's GDP around $5 trillion by 2025. Okay, we are in 2020. By next 4 years, we want to become $5 trillion economy, the third largest in the world, next to US and China. And as per government policy, 25% GDP is supposed to come from the manufacturing sector. This is a challenge. Okay, because the current status is 16% we are getting from manufacturing, and they want to increase up to 25%. Yeah, okay. And do the simple calculation. The 25% of $5 trillion is nothing but $1.25 trillion we have to make it from the manufacturing sector by 2025. Yeah. And the current scenario, we are 3.6 trillion, economy, and the manufacturing contributes only 16%. The next 4 years, we have to increase 16 to 25% for manufacturing, and $3.6 trillion economy is supposed to go to $5 trillion. So, ladies and gentlemen, my question to all of you in this conference, without adopting the latest paradigm like Industry 4.0, just imagine India will be able to achieve this $5 trillion by next 4 years. Okay. So my answer is impossible. So without embracing the emerging technologies like Industry 4.0 or any other technology, it is unlikely that we are going to achieve $5 trillion. Having said that, absolutely it is mandatory for all business from India, irrespective of manufacturing or service industry, they need to embrace the emerging technologies. Okay, see the difference. $674 billion additional income we have to generate from the manufacturing sector. Okay, probably this slide enforces the importance of adopting Industry 4.0 on our daily life and industry in India. Okay. This report is a very good one because they are conducted by PricewaterhouseCoopers, another world largest consulting company. And this company conducted a survey across global CEOs and Indian CEOs. And one of the questions asked by them is, what levels of digital readiness and integration are you expecting next to 5 years? Okay. Next to 5 years, how do you enforce or how do you foresee the digital readiness? And you see here, the current status is 33% global companies, they got into digital transformation, and they foresee it will go up to 72% by next 5 years. This is the global CEO's perspective, like Ford and BMW and blah blah. And come to the Indian CEOs, we are not doing very bad. In fact, we are as good as in global CEOs. Our Indian CEOs, they said 27% of current Indian companies, they embraced digital transformation, and they want to go up to 65% by next 5 years. Okay, see, we are almost on parallels with the global CEOs thought. Okay, having said that, in India, our own country, there is a great opportunity for the Industry 4.0 adoption. And you can ask, yes, our CEOs want to embrace Industry 4.0, where they will embrace, in which business process from the company they will enforce. And this slide is giving answer. See here, the horizontal value chain, it means the core company's business process is starting from store, procurement, warehouse, and distribution, and so on so. And vertical value chain, and different business model, and new product development and engineering activities, and service activities. Having said that, end-to-end industry activities, our CEOs want to embrace Industry 4.0, and the current status you can see around 30% and 25% and 30%, and they want to take it up to almost 70 to 75% by next 5 years. Having said that, there is a great opportunity for employment from Industry 4.0, both for fresh graduates as well as lateral consultants or experienced consultants. And again, our Indian CEOs, okay, the question is, what do you expect from Industry 4.0? Okay, and 80% our own CEOs told they want to increase 10% efficiency from Industry 4.0, and some told 10% cost reduction and 10% revenue increase. Okay. See the 10%, it may be seems to be a little number to you, but given the company size, for example, if you take Tata Motors, the total revenue, anyone knows? Okay, the Tata Motors, the total revenue is 3 lakhs crore or $44 billion business. Just imagine. Okay, one of the largest company in the world. We should be proud about Tata Motors. Okay, and they told that they want to increase 10% cost reduction. What does it mean? 30,000 crore they want to achieve from Industry 4.0. Forget about 10%. Even they achieve 1%, they are going to save 3,000 crores from Industry 4.0. Okay, because their total revenue is 3 lakhs crore. Okay. Again, the another question: how much investment are going from the Indian companies? You can see almost 33% companies they are investing 0.33% of the total revenue. It means if I generate 100 rupees, I'm investing 3 rupees for the Industry 4.0. And 26% companies they want to increase up to 7% investment, and almost 40% companies they said more than 8% they will invest on new technologies. It's a very healthy trend. Okay, and next graph is nothing but the return of investment. For example, I'm going to invest, let us say, 1 crore on digital transformation. How soon I want to get the benefit? Okay, our Indian CEOs they said within 2 years. 70% people want to get the ROI, okay? And within 5 years, remaining 32%. But in no case our CEOs don't want to go beyond 4 years or 5 years. Okay. In fact, comparing with the global standards, our CEOs are somewhat, moderate or reasonable. Because, recently I went to Dell Computers. They have a very big factory from Sriperumbudur, and Dell is US company. I think all of us know, right? And, they asked for 3D printing solution for jigs and fixtures to manufacture laptop and servers, and everything went on well. When we talked about commercial, they told, as per Dell global policy, 11 months is the ROI. Just imagine. So within 11 months, they want to recover whatever investment they are going to put on Industry 4.0, which is, very greedy and highly impossible and cutthroat figure, I would say. Okay. So comparing with the global pressure, our Indian CEOs are somewhat moderate, because they want to wait up to 4 years. It is very decent, it is very doable, I would say. Okay. And you can ask, we are talking so much about Industry 4.0, how many number of jobs it is going to create for India? Probably it is a genuine question from all of you. Okay. And on 2017, our Prime Minister Mr. Modi met Apple CEO Tim Cook, and this is official figure for Apple alone, for Apple Corporation alone, almost 1 lakh apps created by Indian developers or Indian companies. Okay, it created close to 75 lakhs jobs. Just imagine, only apps development for Apple. I'm not talking about data science or AI or different Industry 4.0 components. Okay, and see the potential. One single element creating so much opportunities for India. Okay, obviously we are going to create millions of jobs from different Industry 4.0 segments, and our Indian companies like General Electric, they have many plans from India, and they want to invest close to 1,400 crores or $200 million in the Indian factories. So they are running almost 8 factories across India, from Bangalore and other part of India. And Bosch Group, again German company, okay, they are running almost 14 companies from India. They already allocated close to 500 crores Industry 4.0. And one more company called as Texmo Motors. It is operating from Coimbatore. They recently invested 5 crores for Industry 4.0. Okay. So this data is given by Boston Consulting Group, the second largest consulting group in the world, and Confederation of Indian Industry. So whatever data point I'm showing here are authentic. I taken from the reliable sources. So this slide explains the potential of Industry 4.0 for Indian benefit. Yeah. And here we seen only the manufacturing sector. What about service industry like finance or banking? Again, very promising. Okay. Almost all banks in India, they started using the physical robots to replace the office clerks. Okay. And many banks started using the software robots to automate the manual work. Okay. And many of our Indian companies, almost 60% of the surveyed companies from the PwC survey, okay, many people told that they already started experimenting the autonomous robots. Okay. And 75% companies, they started exploring 3 or more different Industry 4.0 technologies. Though they are yet to implement, they started evaluating the adaptability of Industry 4.0 components for their own companies. So having said that, across India, okay, in manufacturing, in service sector, there is a big thrust going for Industry 4.0, and there are a lot of challenges available. We can see the challenges in the next slides. One of the biggest challenges is skilled manpower. Okay, we have lakhs and lakhs of engineers available in the market, but how many engineers got the right skill for data science, right skill for augmented reality, right skill for 3D printing? That really matters. Okay. Again, this data is coming from Boston Consulting Group survey. Okay. So whenever you go to the client place, as I told we are into Industry 4.0 consulting for last 3 years, and whenever you go to meet the IT manager or president or vice president, and most of the time they got confused. They ask, like we are hearing about data science and artificial intelligence. What it is? Which technology we need to go for it? There are so many technologies coming from Industry 4.0. Okay, and many companies, they want to wait and watch. They are waiting the competitors to adopt the emerging technologies and see the output, and then they want to implement their own technology for the companies. Wait and watch approach. Okay, and they want to become very careful when they go for unproven technologies, because the Industry 4.0 is still evolving, right? Okay, so they don't want to invest the heavy amount for unproven technologies, but at the same time they want to implement or they want to invest on heavy investment on the proven technologies. For example, ERP or CRM, they are ready to invest in even 1 million or 10 crore, 20 crore, because they know that it is going to fulfill the core company operation, and within 4 or 5 years they are going to get the ROI. It's proven technology. But in case of augmented reality or artificial intelligence, it is not unproven. Correct? It is unproven technology. So they want to become very, very careful before investing anything on the unproven technologies. Some companies, as I told Dell, they want to have 9 months, 11 months ROI period, which is not going to work for any emerging technology, not only for Industry 4.0. Okay, and so unfortunately, many companies from India are a family-owned business. So, okay, the moment we talk about family-owned, if you take TVS Group, they got 28 companies. The turnover is close to 40,000 crore, right? And all these 28 companies are operated by TVS family members. Tata Motors again family business, and Ambani is again family business. What happens? These are the family members controlling the entire investment for the company. Okay, if you go to any company and saying that there is a concept called as robotic process automation, nothing but a software robot. If you implement RPA, it is going to replace 15 manpower from your company. In fact, it is very much doable. We did for some places, but many places, the management people will not believe. They will not believe one small software bot will eliminate 15, manpower work. Okay, they don't have that, caliber or ability for appreciation of new technologies. Okay. And many places, okay, before getting into large scale implementation, they want to do the proof of concept. Take a small issue, implement the IoT, see the benefit. Take a small area, implement 3D printing, see the result. If it is working, go for the Big Bang approach. Okay. So these are all a couple of points we experienced from our daily interaction from the industry people. Just I'm sharing for the participant benefits. Okay. But at the same time, a lot of companies are getting ready for a long time digital strategy roadmap. In fact, I'm going to showcase the 5-year digital strategy roadmap we did for one US client and Indian client. We will discuss after some time. Okay. So many companies, they started planning. Though they may not invest in heavy amount as on today, probably they will invest on next year on Industry 4.0. Okay. And again, the moment you talk about any new technologies, there are some lot of challenges involved. And in terms of Industry 4.0, okay, and right now the companies are very strict on protecting the secrets, right? If you go to Chennai, if you go to any factories like TVS, Lucas, or any other company, morning when an employee get into this the factory, they will check the employees, and usually when the evening when the employees come out of the factory, they will check, because they feel that employees will take away drawings or some confidential information. Okay, that is a way of working from traditional companies. But if any Indian company want to go for the Industry 4.0, their entire operation go to the internet, right? Okay, so if any intelligent competitor, they can log into your company network, they can steal the drawings. Okay, they can steal the manufacturing process from the internet, because everything available on the Industry 4.0 in the cloud. Okay, the question is how best the cyber security we are going to enforce for our company. That really matters. That is one of the concerns from the companies. Okay, and in Industry 4.0, as we told, the man, machine, sensor, they need to work close hand in hand. Okay, having said that, assume that there are two machines in the factory. They want to work together. The latency between machine 1 and machine 2 is supposed to be the milliseconds. Okay, but if any factory running on current 4G or 5G, probably if one machine give the instruction to the another machine, it will take 2 or 3 minutes to act. It means that within 2 or 3 minutes there is an ideal time, which is not possible or good for any company as of now. That's why there is a separate movement going on. They want to create IIoT, Industrial Internet of Things. They are dedicated internet only meant for the factory setup. Okay, unless otherwise we have the dedicated internet for factory, it is very difficult to run the machines based on the internet platform. Okay. Third challenge would be expertise and the skilled manpower. Okay, this is very important point, because even when we do the Industry 4.0 projects, we find difficult to get the right skilled manpower from the market. even we are ready to induct the fresh graduates, but it is really lagging. Having said that, if anyone knows any one technology component from Industry 4.0, the job prospects are absolutely brilliant in coming days. Okay. The next challenge would be the digital vision from the leadership. As I told, in the India, all companies are very traditional, and all investment decisions are taken by the senior management people. So unless otherwise the senior management doesn't have the digital vision or digital native, probably they will not allow for any investment on digital. Okay. Even probably the low-level management people like managers, senior managers, they want to go for digital transformation, but the president or vice president are very traditional, they may not allow. That is another challenge. And the moment we talk about Industry 4.0, we need to go for regulation. Okay. So why I'm saying that one? Okay. As per Indian law, carrying the handgun is the offense, right? To carry the gun, I need to get the permission from the police. Okay. But as on today, if I know the 3D printing concept, okay, I can easily buy the metal 3D printing from the market, around 2 lakhs rupees, stainless steel metal printing. Okay. Now, if you want to manufacture any gun, what I will do, I will go to the internet. Okay, I can download the gun drawings. You can see, starting from AK-47 up to the small, handgun, I can download the drawings from the internet, and easily I can feed into this 3D printing machine. Okay, so I can download this gun drawing from the internet. I can feed into the 3D printing machine. Within 1 week, I can make a workable gun on my hand without government support. Okay, so is it really good for the society? Sometimes, for industry, yes. For individual, no. So how the government is going to tackle the menace creating from the emerging technology like 3D printing? That we need to find the answer. Yeah. And someone asked a question on yesterday's session. What is the benefit of MSME sector? In fact, the Industry 4.0 is very helpful to the small and medium scale industry rather than the big scale industries. But the MSME sector, they are facing a lot of money power. They don't have that muscle power, right? So government need to create some kind of policy and support. They need to uplift the MSME sector through Industry 4.0. And many companies, they don't know they can't able to appreciate the benefit from the digital investment. Okay, in case of any ERP or any traditional IT system, they can able to visualize the benefits from those systems. But in terms of artificial intelligence or data science or augmented reality, they still couldn't able to visualize how it is going to useful for the own operation or the company setup. Okay. Again, this is very important point. We need to create the company-wide organization cultural change, because even though senior management take a call, yes, we are going to go for IoT and install one sensor on every machine. But at the end of the day, who is going to run the machine? The laborers, right, or operators. If the operators are not cooperating, they simply break the IoT devices, or they will apply some grease on the IoT devices, right? Okay. So having said that, starting from CEO up to the low-level employee is supposed to accept the digital culture. Otherwise, the companies will not be able to get the full benefit from the Industry 4.0. Okay. Again, this is a very big activity, because you need to create the awareness program, you need to create a lot of training programs before embarking Industry 4.0. Okay. And in many companies, big companies, they started having a designation called as Chief Digital Officer. And traditionally, all companies will have Chief Information Officer or IT Head, okay, or IT Manager. But apart from the traditional CIO, many companies started having Chief Digital Officer. Okay. For example, which is India's largest company? All of us know it is Tata Motors. Now, if you go to the Tata Motors leadership team, so this is now Tata Motors website. I'm going to the management team. Yeah. You see here, the core management team for Tata Group. Chandrasekaran is chairman. And you can see one lady figure here, Aarthi Subramaniam. What is her designation? She is the Chief Digital Officer for Tata Group. Just imagine. Okay, they are mentioning only 6 important executives on this website, and one of the important executives is nothing but Chief Digital Officer. They didn't display Chief Information Officer IT Head. No, because Tata as a company, they are giving a lot of importance for the digital transformation. That's why they are projecting the CDO in the website, the main website. And this is a trend we are witnessing from very big companies. They started giving a new designation. Yeah. And many companies, as I told, where to start, when to start, which technology to start, how do you start the proof of concept. And many companies got the confusion between the current landscape and how the industry 4.0 going to work with them. In fact, we already seen the difference in very first class, right? The difference between our integration between industry 4.0 and the current IT landscape. Yeah. And one of the biggest drawback is, there is no big case study from the Indian market. Having said that, see this company, they implemented artificial intelligence for last 1 year. Okay, they invested, let us say, 10 crore rupees, and they benefited 50 crores, results. Okay, so unfortunately today we couldn't see the large scale use cases for industry 4.0 components because all companies they started implementing I 4.0 in bit and piece basis. But time will be the answer. Probably 6 months or 1 year, all companies will go for a large scale investment on the industry 4.0. Okay. So you can ask question. Yes, you are talking about challenges and the current status, and what would be the solution for the current challenges from India. Okay. So from a practitioner's perspective, we can think about few solutions which I am going to display now. Yeah. Okay. Now the Indian government already announced the digital policy. Yeah. There is a digital policy available from central government of India. Even Mr. Modi, our Prime Minister, when he invited Mr. Trump, the American President, 3 or 4 months back in Ahmedabad, right? He talked about Industry 4.0. Okay, if you carefully watch Mr. Modi's speech a few months back, along with Mr. Trump, American President, he clearly mentioned that they want to get American help on Industry 4.0. Okay, having said that, there is a strong policy from central government of India, but unfortunately, this Industry 4.0 policy from government of India not reaching the designated industries. Okay, so there should be a strong joint platform happen between the central government and state governments and industry bodies. A lot of industry bodies, right? Confederation of Indian Industry, okay, and the FCCI. So they need to work together and bring the technology to the industries. Not only big industries, even for the MSME sector. Okay, right now the coordination is missing from the market. Okay. The policy is in paper, but in action, no. And we as a country, we should not try to get the help from foreign countries. So India as a country need to go to the country like Israel or US or European Union. We need to have the collaborative efforts, the country to country collaboration, because India alone try for different industry 4.0 technologies. It is doable, but we will take more time to embrace the emerging technologies. Instead, the collaboration effort between the countries will make the transition very fast for the country like ours, India. Okay, and our company is supposed to go for minimum 6% investment on Industry 4.0. Okay, this is the main differentiation factor. So why foreign companies are in forefront of new technologies or invention? Because on average, all US companies or Euro companies they're investing 7% on R&D. How much? 7%. If I make 100 rupees, 7 rupees I will spend for R&D work. But in India, unfortunately, not even 1.5% we are investing on R&D. Okay, we are always focusing on the core business processes. Right? We never give the importance on R&D and the new technologies. But to overcome the current status, okay, our Indian companies have to spend minimum 6% of the total revenue. Otherwise, we can't able to catch up the emerging technologies on par with the Western countries. And as usual, the management supposed to have the strong commitment for the new technologies. Okay, and in fact, companies can take bold decision. Let us invest 10 lakh rupees and go for data science. Okay, sometimes it is going to give the benefit for the company. Sometimes may not be. Okay, but that kind of bold decision, we as the practitioners not seeing from the industry. The industry want to become, very, very careful. Even if they spend 1 lakh rupees, they are asking, 1 lakh questions. Okay. So this kind of mindset is supposed to go away from the industry, because any new technology always carries some risk factors, and we shouldn't wait for, others to do example for us. Okay. The last point is very important. This is my personal observation. Okay. Now, You see the three big car companies in the world. Not in the world. Toyota is the biggest car company as on today. The three big car companies from US, General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler. Whichever country they will go, okay, they will also take the important suppliers. For example, Magna closures, right? Okay, if you buy any Ford cars, the door sets, right? All 4 doors are manufactured with the Magna closures. Not only the American companies, all companies in the world, they are buying the doors from Magna closure. The Delphi and Johnson Controls, they are manufacturing the car automation parts, and TRW steering wheels. Okay, you see any country where the Ford got the factory, they always calling these subcontractors or important vendors. Similarly, for German company like Volkswagen or BMW, Daimler, they always take Bosch and other companies to the new countries. If we take the Japanese companies like Toyota, these are all main suppliers. So what happens? For example, if Toyota implement the new Industry 4.0 technology, they will not keep within themselves. Immediately, they will give the technology to the vendors like Denso and Aisin, because they believe that that business success always depends on the raw materials supplied by the vendors. Okay. In fact, for many subcontracting companies, they are the primary investors. The Toyota invests a lot of money on Denso. Okay, the Ford invests a lot of money on the Magna. Okay. That's why as a group we are growing. If Ford is growing, obviously the Magna closure and TRW will grow like anything. Okay. The question is, in India, are we following that same pattern? Unfortunately, I don't find. Why? Because if you take Tata Motors, one of the world's biggest company, $44 billion, right? And for Tata Motors, the TVS group of companies is the main suppliers for auto ancillaries. They have 28 companies, starting from tires, starting from Viper Motors, everything supplied by the TVS group of companies. But even today, until now, it is transactional basis. If TVS group supplies something to the Tata Motors, they will pay. Otherwise, they will not bother about TVS group of companies growth or capability. In other words, if Tata Motors implement, let us say, augmented reality for the mainland assembly, they will not give the technology to this TVS group of companies. Okay, so this kind of the harmonious relationship is missing from the Indian industry. Okay, but if as a country, as an industry, you want to grow, we need to embrace or cultivate that strong collaboration between big companies and the suppliers. Like we see from Japan and the US and Germany. Okay, this is my personal observation. Yeah. Okay, and also why there is a compelling need for the companies to go for Industry 4.0. You can ask why companies will go for the Industry 4.0. Okay, because I think all of us heard about sustainability. Okay, this is the latest buzzword. Okay, in fact, the United Nations UN recently instructed all governments across the world. Okay, going forward, any industry activity is supposed to fulfill 3 important criteria. Okay, for example, I am going to start the new factory, let us say, that is the automobile components factory. I shouldn't impact the planet. I shouldn't enhance the temperature from India. Okay, I can't put some poisonous water on the land. Okay, and also I shouldn't create any issue for the people well-being. Correct? Okay, then only I can make profits. So what happened? Traditionally, all companies across the world, not only India, they are always focusing on the profit alone. Do anything, everything, increase the profit. But going forward, all companies are supposed to take care of the other 2 aspects as well. This is called as 3 P's. Okay, so going forward, in the newspaper you can see 2 kind of yearly statements from the companies. Number 1 is financial statement. Next one is sustainability statement. For example, how much kilograms of carbon dioxide this factory released to the atmosphere. Okay, so to fulfill this the emerging sustainability patterns, companies should go for the new technology like Industry 4.0. Okay, for example, 3D printing, right? But right now in the world, if you want to manufacture any part, I need to have the factory. Okay, I need to have the machineries, I need to have the electricity, and okay, I need to run the machine. The machine will create some gases. But think about 3D printing. It is a small box, right? 2 feet and 2 feet and 2 feet. That is going to create the same part for you. The question is, should I really go for the factory? Theoretically, no. By using 3D printer, you can eliminate the necessity of the factory. Okay, I'm giving just one example to you. Okay. And also by using the emerging technologies, the companies can introduce a new product every 2 months or 3 months. Okay, and traditionally companies will take minimum 2 to 3 years to implement the new product, but the product life cycle is going to be decreased like anything in coming days. And also the products will be available at cheaper rate to the society. Even the downtrodden people or poor people, they can start enjoying the good product from the industry. And traditionally, the good products are only meant for middle class and upper middle class segments. But the industry 4.0 will make those products available for the downtrodden people in the society. And yes, this is the industry going to create a lot of job opportunities for next 2 decades. Okay. In fact, it is good for a country like India because we have a lot of skilled manpower we can leverage. Okay. One of the main challenge from Industry 4.0, okay, in fact, in many global conferences where I give the presentation or in a speech, so one of the questions from the participant is, oh, what will happen for the less skilled manpower? Okay. So unfortunately, if you go to any factory, right, okay, if you have 100 people, 30 people are management people. I'm giving approximate number. Remaining 70 people are, workers or operators. They usually run the machines, the actual operation for the factory. But unfortunately, this Industry 4.0 going to rationalize the necessity of 70 people. Instead of 70 people, let us say 40 people can run the factory. So what will happen for the remaining 30 operators? Okay, so they have to reskill. The question is, are they really capable for the reskill? Do they have the education knowledge? Unfortunately, no. So this particular point may create some tension between the skilled and unskilled manpower in India or any developing countries. So going forward, it is going to make the unskilled people life tougher, and the skilled people will earn very good money. This is one of the negative side of Industry 4.0. Okay, I think we will succeed from this tension in coming days. Okay, and I'm displaying this slide only meant for education institution. I understand there are a lot of faculties joining from the universities. Okay, and I think all of the education institutions of India, they want to create or enhance the employment opportunity for the students, right? Okay, and if you see any education institution, you have a lot of different branches like mechanical engineering or civil engineering or different engineering, doesn't matter. Okay, so the Industry 4.0 going to impact all and almost all industry segments, starting from banking sector or manufacturing sector or service sector. So I would say that you as education institution decision makers, apart from the regular degree courses, right, probably you can try to impart one full week deep dive session into Industry 4.0. So students can understand the end-to-end about Industry 4.0. Okay, this is not sufficient, I would say. You need to find out the interest or skill level from the students, and choose one or two technologies. For example, I'll go for data science. Okay, give the detailed training to them, make them expert when they go for interview. Okay, believe me, as a practice professional, in fact, I was part of Wipro campus interview panel. I had more than 1,000 people from the different campus from Chennai. Okay, these students' profile will stand apart from the interviews because they have the engineering degree from the good institution. They know the end-to-end Industry 4.0 concept, and they are good in at least one or two skill. It means that in the interview, okay, the student will overpower the interview, the other person or who is going to do the interviews. Okay, so probably we can talk about this plan at the end of the session. Okay, so now what I will do, I will go for the another slide. Okay, so meantime, let me see any questions came from the participants.
Yes, okay. Questions.
Yeah. So I will answer the question and again go to the next implementation approach slide. Okay. The question came from Mr. Shekhar .sap. Yeah. Okay. What are the government initiatives to promote this upgradation to Industry 4.0? As I told, the central government of India already published the Industry 4.0 policy. Yeah. But unfortunately, it is not in action. Okay. So we need to start implementing this the Industry 4.0 policy. To implement, as I told you, we need to have a strong collaboration between central government, state government, industry bodies. Okay. Next question, again, Mr. Shekhar. Is Indian government planning to deploy Industry 4.0 in government departments? The answer is yes. Okay, as I told, many government institutions started using blockchain. One example is Andhra Pradesh land department, right? They implemented a blockchain for land registration and selling and buying. Yeah. Okay. And even another example is for the current COVID-19 or corona issues, right? You can see a lot of the modeling data from the industry, or from health institution, right? And some of this analysis we see, they are getting from the data analytics, right? Okay. Recently there is a forecast from ICM, or Indian Council of Medical Research, and they created this model based on the data analytics part. Having said that, the government institutions started implementing Industry 4.0 in India. Okay. Ms. Gayatri, scope of Industry 4.0, I would say for next 10 to 20 years, this is going to rule the world. Okay, anyone knows about Industry 4.0, their survey is much better than other people from the market. Okay, so question was Shekhar. Considering the scope of Industry 4.0 in India, is government planning to promote AI, data science, blockchain through Skill India program to bridge the gap? Yeah, this is a question, even we are trying to check with the government of India. And right now, the Skill India movement is focusing only on low-level skill, like drilling or machining or electrician or plumbing activities. And in fact, okay, right now there is no plan from Skill India to cover the Industry 4.0 components. But personally, I believe that going forward they will sponsor. It means that there will be some government-sponsored program wherein I can go and join this Industry 4.0 training programs. Right now, it is not available. Okay. And Mr. Omveer Singh, what will be the challenges for small IT companies? Okay, as I told, the MSME sector or medium small scale industries is the backbone for India. So almost 40% Indian economy depends on the MSME sector. Okay, if you see Chennai, we can easily count the big companies, around 100 big companies you can find. But in case of small companies, we have 3 lakhs companies operating from Chennai. In fact, the small companies are backbone for the company. And come to the small IT companies. Okay, the question is, what will be the challenge for small IT companies? The problem, the small IT companies can't hire the highly skilled people. Okay, for example, a small IT company will get a Industry 4.0 project, let us say data science, and they want to execute it. They need a good manpower, right? But to hire the good manpower, they need to spell out good salary. Probably they are not able to compete with the big companies. Okay, they need to go for freelance consultants or some profit sharing model. That is a challenge I can foresee for small IT companies. Okay. The question from Mr. Omveer Singh: what is the role of responsibilities for Chief Digital Officer? Okay, good question. Okay, the CDO will focus only on how to introduce Industry 4.0 into the company. Okay, the other people like IT head or IT director or a Chief Information Officer, they will take care about maintaining the current IT system in place. Apart from that, the CDO look after introducing new technologies to the company. That is the main difference. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, the next question from Mr. Prabhakaran. Good evening, sir. You discussed a point on investment percentage on R&D. Can we say we are more business oriented than more product development? Absolutely, you are right. Absolutely, you are right, Mr. Prabhakaran. In fact, I can share one incident. Recently, I met a person from Chennai. He did a PhD from Indian ISC, Indian, the very good institution of Bangalore. Okay, he did PhD and he is running his own company for health industry. And he said that for last 30 years from India, no Indian company invented a new drug formulas. Okay, all new drugs or medicines came from foreign companies because to introduce the new drug, you need to have minimum 15 years. So no Indian companies got the caliber or passion to release the new drugs. Okay, whatever medicine produced by the Indian companies or general medicines, it means I can find a new drug. After 10 years, I will lose the patent rights. And after 10 years, everyone can start producing. Those kind of medicine only Indian companies are producing, but there is no invented medicine from Indian companies. Just I'm giving an example where we are standing on new product introduction from India. We are lagging like anything. Okay. So there is a question from Mr. Karnamurthy K. Is carbon capture and storage is considered in I 4.0? Okay. It is not part of I 4.0 spectrum, but it is mandated by government regulation. As I told, going forward, the companies will, publish two kind of reports. Number one is financial report, profit or loss. Everyone knows about it. There could be one more report from the companies wherein they have to publish. For my company, as per the government standards, I need to release 10 million or around 10,000 carbon dioxide to the air, but we released 11,000 kilograms carbon dioxide. Okay, so that is mandated by the government of India. I think within a year or two they are going to publish. But right now, the industry 4.0 is not meant for capturing the carbon capture. Yeah, but there are some technologies available. The smart energy is one of the common industry 4.0 to monitor the carbon dioxide and leveraging non-conventional energy power for industry operations. Okay. Next question is Mr. Karnamurthy. Sustainability development goals are there as per UN. Is I 4.0 is in accordance with UN SDGs? Yeah, this is very good question. Yeah, you are right. Okay. In fact, recently there is a report from the industry, right? Many Indian universities, they placed 200, 300 ranking from the global ranking. In fact, I saw the VIT as well as the SRM as part of this the UN ranking. Yeah. The answer is to fulfill this SDG or sustainability development goals, the industry 4.0 will play a very big role. You are right. Companies adopting industry 4.0 or education institution adopting industry 4.0, they are likely to achieve the SDG goals. Okay. So, Ms. Shilpa, my question from blockchain: how blockchain is in healthcare? Okay. The answer is, right now the patient information are maintained by the hospitals, right? Either in the manual mode or in the system. Okay. And these systems can be manipulated by the hospital authorities. Definitely, anyone got access to the IT system, I can go, I can steal the data, right? Okay, I can give it to outside world, or I can manipulate the data. But by implementing the blockchain, yeah, so the patient information are almost constant. No one can able to alter the data or alter the details. Okay, so that could be one of the use cases I can think from healthcare industry. Okay. What do you do to reach beyond global average? Dr. E. Ilangovan, what to do to reach beyond global average? I do not understand the question, Dr. Ilangovan. So, can you please write a bigger question or explain the question again in the chat box? I will answer. Okay. So there is a question from. Okay. Sir, should be a mechanical engineer candidate should be aware of coding knowledge to learn industry 4.0? Okay, not necessary. Okay, only few components from industry 4.0 like data science and artificial intelligence need coding. If you take 3D printing, no coding knowledge required. Okay, if you go for augmented reality, virtual reality, that is gaming concept, like user graphical interfaces. So answer is not necessary for all industry 4.0 components. Coding is absolutely not necessary. Okay. Next one is Mr. Xavier's race. What kind of facilities we could have for giving training to students? Okay. So most of the industry 4.0 components, you need the normal IT infrastructure. Okay. Only for augmented reality, virtual reality, and 3D printing, you need to go for procuring the dedicated infrastructure. Okay. And even for those kind of infrastructure, within few lakhs you can able to get the necessary things in place. Okay, for 3D printing you can spend 15,000 rupees, you can get the very good machine from Chennai. For augmented reality, virtual reality, you can spend, let us say, 50,000, 60,000, you have the very basic system in place. Mr. Aruviraj, if it rules the world, then being human, how we are going to overcome the challenge? Okay, so what I meant, if it is going to rule the world means the people who knows these technologies, the people who knows this industry 4.0 going to have the upper hand in the market. Okay, that is the meaning of ruling the world. Does it mean that the technology by itself going to rule the world without human being? No. Okay, the people knows the industry 4.0, they are going to rule the world by getting good job opportunities, by making good salary. That is my statement here. Okay. Okay, so Mr. Sendil Anand, The rationalization of unskilled labor in industries will be done only if the complete smart factory features were implemented right. If yes, how to identify the required best fit I4 features? Do we have the type of expert consent available in India? It's a very good question. Okay. In fact, recently I met a ex vice president from Madras Management Association. MMA is the largest management association of Chennai. Okay, he shared a story with me. He said, his friend is working as the CEO for a company, a foreign subsidiary in India, and he got a fund from German saying that you take $100 million funding from the global company or global headquarters and do the digital transformation for India company and eliminate 400 people. Not the point. You have $100 million fund available, take the money and implement digital transformation in India and get rid of 400 employees. At this CEO told, no, I will not do it. He deferred the same reason. If he implement the digital transformation for India, what the 400 people will do? With all 400 people operators, right? They will not get any other job from the industry. So he told that this friend, the vice president, ex-vice president, he told that I declined the offer. I didn't implement the Industry 4.0 in India. Okay. Having said that, the complete end-to-end automation is not possible for India or not good for India. So we need to go for a very calibrated approach. Wherever possible, we need to implement the Industry 4.0 with minimum impact on the employees. Okay. Dr. Karthikeyan Srinivasan, are you going to provide material to the participants? Okay. Now, Dr. Segar is going to post the video recording in the YouTube, so you can see as per your convenience. If required, I can even share the PPT with you on need basis. I got 2 or 3 requests. Anyone want to have that in a PPT? I will share with you. Please send the mail to me or WhatsApp to me. Okay. Mr. Sai Malligeshwari, yeah. Is there any funding project available in this area? Okay, the answer is yes. In fact, yesterday I got a call from one university from Chennai. Okay, they got the proposal from Central Government of India. Okay, they are asking the proposal from education institution. Okay, for example, you choose the technology like big data or IoT. Submit the proposal, you will get the Central Government of India funding. There are huge number of funding opportunities available for Industry 4.0. Yeah, huge. Srinivasamurthy Karthikeyan, what is view towards the upcoming students? What should they do? Okay, so the answer is very clear. Okay, irrespective of the education qualification, whether engineering or arts or mathematics, doesn't matter. They have to know about Industry 4.0. Why? Their market potential will be much better than other candidates. And in whichever job they are going to join, they are going to be impacted by Industry 4.0 components like mobile technology and data science. They are going to use on daily basis. So it is better for them to learn about Industry 4.0. Again, Industry 4.0 is a very big boundary, right? So one person cannot get mastery in all technologies. Choose 1 or 2 and get start expertise on the same skill sets. So Sendil Anand, what I mean to understand, do we lack a yardstick for best fit I 4.0 in respect to industry perspective? Yes, you are right, Mr. Sendil Anand. Right now there is no a yardstick available. I believe it is going to evolve in coming months or coming years for Indian context. The best fit I 4.0 mechanism for India. Okay. Jira, okay, Jira V online. Good evening, sir. In what way Industry 4.0 helps IoT? Okay. So IoT, okay, fine. For the entire Industry 4.0, data is the main oil, right? Without data, you can't use most of the Industry 4.0 components. The main reason for IoT is nothing but to generate more data by placing the sensor or actuators, right? Okay. So without IoT in place, you will not get the data. The moment you will not get the data, you can't use the data science. You can't use the artificial intelligence. So IoT is the fundamental for the entire Industry 4.0. Or you need to have the sufficient data by some other means. How helps 4.0 in telecom industry? Okay. How 4.0 helps telecom? I can give an example. Assume that you are running a telecom company, let us say ACD FiberNet, a very famous broadband company from India, right? Okay. So you are going to hire, let us say, 10 service engineers. What you will do, you need to call all 10 service engineers to your campus and do the training, right? how to lay the cable, how to fit the modems and so on. So what happens, all the training as on today is, running from the training center. Some experienced faculties will do the training program. The training process will lead some kind of, consumables, right? Just imagine, I'm going to use virtual reality or augmented reality for the telecom training. Having said that, you need to have a small room. They can wear the gadget or virtual reality, augmented reality, and infinite times, 10,000 times they can do the same training program without any additional investment. Okay, but traditional way, you need to have the training center, you need to have the trainer, you need to have the consumables for giving the training. But NICE 4.0 for virtual reality, augmented reality, it's virtual. Okay, the participant can get lakhs time training by themselves. I'm giving an example to you. And solar industry. In fact, it is very promising industry for industry 4.0. So what happens, many companies, they are buying electricity from Tamil Nadu Electricity Board to run the factories and machineries, right? Okay, and there are a lot of companies emerging from India. What they are doing, they are implementing the solar farm on the rooftop of the industry or any common area. Okay, and to implement 1 megawatt solar farm, it need almost 6 crores investment. But these companies will not charge anything from the companies. They will do free of cost. The only agreement, the company is supposed to buy the electricity from these companies for next 15 years. Okay, so very good. In fact, I am one of the partners for a German company in Tamil Nadu. So we are talking with multiple clients from Chennai to implement the solar industry. Okay, so solar industry is one of the beneficiaries from Industry 4.0. Okay, the clean energy, I would say. Mr. Sendil, say for food industry, we can have a best smart factory to keep as example. Mr. Sendil Anand, say for food industry, can we have a best smart factory to keep as example? As I told, the industry 4.0 is a global concept. It's applicable to all kind of industry. So even food industry, we can do it. I don't find any issues. The average economic status of India is below the global average. Okay. Answer is yes. Unfortunately, we are much lower than global average. Okay. Yeah, your answer is correct, sir. Okay. To change the status. Okay. To bridge the gap between poor and wealthy person in India, we need a lot of new technologies to change the status quo, right? So probably Industry 4.0 will play a role to bridge the gap between poor and wealth in India, and also to enhance the Indian average according to the global incoming average. Mr. Shekhar, how AI and data science going to benefit the commercial vehicle industry? Okay, I think all of us heard about the driverless car, right? The Tesla car. They are doing a lot of experimentation, right, to drive the car without drivers. Okay, if it is successful, okay, the Tesla concept can become extend to the commercial vehicle. Saying that if you want to send the goods from Chennai to, let us say, Jammu Kashmir through the lorries or in any big vehicles, probably after few years there can be a run without drivers. Okay, I will not surprise after few years. Okay, and for the driverless car, both data as well as AI play a big role. Okay, so personally I believe that the commercial vehicle industry is going to be impacted by AI in a big way in coming days. Okay, so what kind of projects will be funded, sir? Okay, as per my discussion with the university and yesterday, they are funding on big data, IoT, and any emerging technology. They mentioned 6 different technologies. The universities to submit the proposal with the scope of the work and benefit to the industry and the expected machineries and facilities and the expected amount, and they will do the due diligence and they give the money to you. But it is a long process, not an easy one. Okay. Okay. And what type of expert skill is available in India at that affordable investment? Okay. The expert skill for Industry 4.0, it is still evolving. Okay. So to be very frank, for my projects, I couldn't find the right skilled person from the Chennai market. Okay. A lot of resumes coming, but when they call for interviews, they are not performing well. So the expert skill is still lagging from the industry. Okay, just imagine if all companies go for a big scale Industry 4.0 implementation, then the expert skill will be the main constraint or challenge for the India. Okay. how Industry 4.0 impacts the communication industry. I given an example for training, for installing LAN and modems. Okay. Yeah. Sir, please send your PPT, highly useful. Sometimes the voice may not be able to hear. Sure, I will share. Okay. Now we can continue now for next 20 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So this is a live project we did for a US company, and this company is based out of US. They have 28 plants. They are operating from 28 different countries in the world. Okay, and they are into food business, like sugar, starch, and they are selling to different store across the world, like ice creams and food services. Okay, and this company called us. In fact, we worked with a Hyderabad-based company, and we partnered with that company, and both of us given the presentation to the US company. Okay, and this US company, they want to build a digital strategy roadmap for next 5 years. Okay, and at the same time, they don't want to touch the current IT system. As I told the current IT system is mission critical application for any company. With the same statement, they don't want to touch the SAP. Okay, don't touch SAP, but do the whatever you want for digital transformation for next 5 years. So this is a project given to us. Okay, so some of the main requirements from the company, they have 28 different factories across the world, but from the global headquarters, they can't able to see complete data from the factories. Each factory is running on the silo manner. For example, US factory, they have different IT systems and different dashboards. If you have the European factory, they are operating on different style. So the global headquarters, they don't have a complete centralized or standardized KPIs from all factories. Okay, and also since they are in the food business, they want to see the complete traceability. Okay, for example, any vegetables, which farmer they are buying. Okay, because something goes wrong in the market and tomorrow from some consumer, they need to find out. Okay, this fruit or this vegetable we bought from this particular farmers. So we need end-to-end traceability in the system. Okay, and also they need a long-term partner with necessary skill to support them for a 5-year strategy roadmap. So this is a requirement. Okay, and we given the solutioning. Okay, so to get the complete visibility for each and every machine, we are going to install the IoT devices. Okay, okay. And we are going to integrate both machine and man as well as the products in seamless manner. Okay. The next slide you can see. So this is the complete solution approach. As I told we will not alter the existing IT landscape. Okay, we will keep the SAP as it is, and over and above we are going to give the solution. Okay. So right now they are using SAP, they are using manufacturing execution system, they have different shop floor system, and some of the machines they are using the IoT. So right now, few machines are generating data through the IoT devices, but many machines don't have any IoT device in place. Having said that, those machines we can't get any analytics. Okay, so we told that you go for a standalone the i4.0 engine. Okay, this engine can be run from your in-premise server or the cloud server. Okay, and whatever. Okay. And this engine is going to integrate with the current IT system. So there will be a lot of the plugins available to integrate the two system, and whatever components they are going to use, like IoT or some other components. Okay, these components are going to run on this platform. And again, there is connectivity between the proposed i4.0 components and the proposed i4.0 engine. It means that all the Industry 4.0 technologies will run on extended platform. It is not going to affect the current IT system because it is mission critical. Something goes wrong, then factory will be closed with no point in time. Okay, to avoid this risk, we are proposing this structure. Okay, and this proposed i4.0 engine will get data from the IT system as well as the i4.0, and it is going to give the complete visibility to the global headquarters, the end-to-end operation. Okay, let us say one example. Assume that there are some machines that doesn't have IoT sensors. So we are going to put the IoT systems. What happens? Okay, so the machine without IoT, based on our system, it is going to generate the data. The data is going to come on here. For example, vibration from a big machine. Okay, so this data is going to store here. Now here I am going to get the machine a number from the SAP system. In SAP, we are maintaining the maintenance module and the equipment master module. Okay, so from there I am going to check the machine number and the recommended vibration level. here I already got the vibration, the actual vibration from the sensor. Now I'm going to compare both the recommended one, the current one. If it is deviating, I'm going to create the maintenance work order and send the data to the SAP system. Okay. For example, virtual reality, augmented reality. Some employees are going to get the training program. So what I will do, okay, they are going to use the these technologies here, but in the SAP system, they are going to maintain the employee master. Okay, so I need to get the employee number from the SAP system and pass to this system, and based on this one, the employees will start using the virtual reality, augmented reality for the training purpose or some other purpose. Okay, and again the robotic process automation to eliminate the manual activities. So the process parameters supposed to come from IT system, but the RPA will run on this global platform. Okay, so this is one way. Okay, but you may ask one question. So you are saying that Industry 4.0 is very promising one. Okay, how come companies like SAP, they're GN, right? Oracle or Microsoft, they're almost crocodiles. How they will lose the market to the Industry 4.0, the others? Okay, that's why the large companies like SAP or Microsoft or Oracle, they started releasing the Industry 4.0 platform. For example, if we take SAP, okay, this is a traditional SAP product, right? Okay, and recently they launched the SAP Leonardo. Okay, this particular add-on product or add-on module got facility for IoT, okay, facility for cloud platform. So this IoT and cloud is running based on SAP platform. So companies will use the regular SAP ERP system, and also they can buy SAP IoT bridge with a cloud platform, and by using this platform they are going to get data from different sensors of the machines. Got it? Okay. So personally I believe that this the portfolio going to increase. Tomorrow SAP may bring 3D printing here, and they can bring virtual reality, augmented reality here. But the trend is very clear. All big companies started investing on Industry 4.0. They started releasing the enhanced model along with the core product in the market. Okay, you can find out the similar product from Microsoft. They are investing heavily on Industry 4.0 and also Oracle. I'm giving some example. Okay, but this approach is our custom approach. This is standard IT system, and this is our proposed solution. In fact, we as the company and partners, we are developing this the platform, the global platform, and plug and play. So one company can use SAP, we can use another company can use different IT systems, still we can use, because these are universal engines. Okay, so the question is how we are going to implement. Okay, usually we follow 3-stage approach. Number one is requirement validation. Okay, so we need to understand the current status of the company. Okay, so we need to understand the pain points. Yeah, we need to understand the current level of digital maturity from the organization, and we want to meet the management team. Yeah, so okay, so as part of the requirement validation, what we are doing, we used to conduct a assessment mechanism. So go to the company, give the assessment questionnaire. It's supposed to be filled by the management for 1 or 2 days, and based on the answer or results, that we are going to take the next step. So I will show the assessment mechanism to you now. This is a sample assessment mechanism we are using for our clients. Okay. Header, and there are 60 total questions. For each question, there will be 5 answers. One is strongly disagree, and 5 is strongly agree. And this question is supposed to be filled by the senior management people like president or vice president. Okay, and based on the feedback, we are going to segregate the company based on the 4 different parameters. They are beginner to the Industry 4.0. Nothing is available. Nothing is available. They want to start the Industry 4.0 journey. Then our strategy will be something different. Or some companies already taken some initiative like Dell Computers. They are already doing some digital transformation, right? So we classify them into intermediate category, and our strategy will vary accordingly. And some MNCs like BMWs and Daimler from Chennai, they're almost advanced. So our strategy will be completely different for those kind of companies. Okay. Now the 60 questions will be spread across multiple headings. Okay. And in fact, I would say you can find out 10 different headings, right? Strategy, models, and experience. And in fact, I would say that This is the comprehensive Industry 4.0 assessment mechanism available in India as and today. There are some assessment mechanism available, but they have around 4 or 5 different headings. We are the only company who got 10 different headings. It's the most comprehensive one. For due to some reason, I'm not showing the actual question to the participants because it is confidential for our company. So what I will do, I will show the assessment mechanism from PwC for better understanding. So PwC, we know PricewaterhouseCoopers, right? They given free assessment for all companies. Okay. For example, my company belongs to the automotive industry. Okay. And my company is running from Asia. And I belong to Indian country, India. And my turnover is less than 100 million business. Okay. Here you can see the business models 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Out of 6 different categories, 3 are mandatory and 3 are optional. But in our case, you see here, we have 10 different headings. It means that we are going to capture the most detailed information from the client to make the informed decision. But the current other mechanism got limited information from the clients. This is the main difference between others and our company. So for example, for each question they need to give the current answer and the target answer. So one question is, how would you rate the contribution of digital features, products and services to the overall value creation of your portfolio? I'm giving some answer. To which degree is the average product in your portfolio digitized? The level of the digital penetration, I will give one more. Just I'm giving some answer for all questions. And finally, you see the result from this PwC. There will be around 15 questions total. There will be a few more questions. I will complete. Yeah, it is going to complete now. View results. Now you can see, based on the client feedback, the PwC is going to devise a strategy. Okay, they feel that based on the client feedback, they are at the entry level of the digital transformation. They are called a digital novice. They have to start the digital journey, and their strategies depends on the senior management feedback. And for advanced level of companies, they call it as vertical integrator and horizontal collaborator and digital champion. The same philosophy from our company, we are dividing our clients into 4 different categories. For example, beginner, intermediate, experienced and expert. So come to this particular point. Okay, so this requirement validation, we used to give the assessment question to the senior management people and they will fill it. And also, not only questionnaire, we are going to meet the actual people from the factory, like maintenance manager and transportation manager, to understand the actual pain points. Probably I can show a few more documents to you in a minute. As I told this is a US client, we are working together. Okay, we devised the 5 days training plan. You see here, first 3 days, all 28 presidents from 28 countries, they will come to US for this Industry 4.0 awareness program. Okay, so this program is day 1 of the training program. Okay, all 28 presidents, they will come to US and they will attend 3 days mandatory program. Last 2 days, we will go to the factory. See how to integrate SAP with the ERP landscape and the simulator application for manufacturing industry. Yeah, and they see the second day schedule. In day 2, how the IoT will help for the company, how the augmented reality, virtual reality going to help the company, data science, and AI. Okay. And see the third day, how to roll out the digital strategy for 28 countries across the world. how to devise the digital strategy roadmap 5 years. Okay, so this 3 days program is mandatory for all senior management people. And last 2 days, we plan to go to 2 years factories from New York and New Jersey. Yeah, and here you can see the factory visit. Okay. And we are going to have the face-to-face discussion with the factory manager and the production manager and maintenance manager and the maintenance manager. And last day, warehouse manager, transportation manager, and support function like finance or human resource development. So why we are doing? We want to hear the actual pain point from the industry, the persons who is running the operations. Okay. So this is a 5 days plan we given for US client. Unfortunately, the corona issue came. Otherwise, by this time I supposed to be in US for this workshop. Yeah. I will take 2 more minutes to complete. Okay, so once you get the clear requirements about the company, you are start devising the digital strategy roadmap. For example, this company is very entry level, doesn't have the maturity for digital transformation. So we will go for 2 years strategy roadmap. In 2 years, we will go only for the IoT because we want to generate the data. Once you have the data, probably from 3rd year you will go for data science. I'll give an example to you. And the moment you choose different digital strategy components, accordingly you are going to procure the tools and techniques, and you are going to finalize the skill required, right? Okay. And also we are following the sprint planning. This is agile project methodology. It means for every 4 months we are going to release, we plan to release some kind of product to the client. Okay, the traditional way of project management, usually by end of year 1, just 1 minute. Okay, in traditional way of project management, we will take 1 year. At the end of the first year, we are going to deliver the product. But in Industry 4.0, 1 year is too much long. So we are going to deliver for every 4 months. It is called a Scrum Master or agile project management methodology. Okay, once it is in place, then we are going to start implementing the chosen technologies for the company. Okay, and for example, we are going to implement IoT and the RPA, robotic process automation, for year 1 and 2. And in the process, we are going to learn some learnings and going to adapt. And also based on companies mandate for ROI, so we are trying to achieve it. Some companies will go for 3 years ROI, some companies will go for 2 years ROI. Okay, so this is a way of implementing Industry 4.0. The last slide which I will show to you, in fact, we did for an Indian client, and this client is operating from North India. So I personally went to the factory for 2 days. I met different the factory managers, like maintenance, production managers. I personally seen the issues from the factory. For example, there is a roller sensor issue. As per the specification, for every 1 meter you should cut accurately, but sometimes it is cutting 1 meter 2 centimeters or 998 centimeters. Okay, and in fact all the issues they are living for last 15 years. Just imagine, there is no answer for them. And they want to address all the issues through the digital transformation. And these issues are coming from different, business verticals like supply chain, production, so on and so. Okay, and these are different measurable KPIs. Yes, we are going to invest 1 crore for the digital transformation. How we are going to measure the metrics? So we have very clear metrics. And as I told this company is very traditional company, highly unskilled labor. So what we are doing for current year 2020. We are going to deploy a lot of IoT devices, the RFID devices, because we want to generate the data, right? And there is no data available. Okay, so we want to generate the data from each and every machine. And later part of this year, and we want to go for analytics. For example, the machine maintenance, because first 6 months we are going to have a lot of data. Start analyzing the data and find out, okay, what kind of issues going to come for the machineries. I'll give an example. And also, in this company, a lot of repeated activities are happening, a lot of manpower. So we want to implement, some robotic process automation or software robots to eliminate manual activities. So you see, the Industry 4.0 is very big boundary, right? A lot of advanced components. But for this client, we chosen the low-level components because it should match with the company's maturity level. Probably in the year 2020, and we'll go for the advanced Industry 4.0 components for this Indian client. Okay, this is one classic example for digital strategy roadmap. This is tactical strategy roadmap because it is only 1 year. Usually strategy will go for 4 to 5 years. We did for US client, but I am not displaying here for the confidential reasons. Okay. So now we'll go for the questions. Okay, Dr. Sekhar, we have 5 more minutes. Shall I go through the question now?
Yeah, you proceed with question.
Yeah, okay, okay. Okay. Good evening, sir. What is the impact of COVID-19 in our in Indian manufacturing sector? Is possible to achieve $5 trillion economy? Yeah. So everyone knows the answer. It is very tough, unfortunate situation in current India. But 2020 is still a long way to go, right? We have another 4.5 years. Okay. I understand that the current 2 or 3 months are going waste due to COVID-19 issues, but we can leverage next to 4.5 years for goodness to reach $5 trillion business. Mr. Prabhakaran, sir, we are speaking about skill set. Can we say in government also join hands with company in a more dedicated way to improve the skill set and to product a skillful company? Excellent. This is the point which I'm talking about. There should be a coordination between government and industry bodies like CIIs and individual companies. Okay, then only you can produce the good skill set people and you can embrace the technology. Otherwise, not possible. Sir, okay, sure. Okay, one question came from Mr. Praveen Neil. How can I approach customer industry? A very good question, Mr. Praveen. Yeah. See, you simply call the client. Simply call the client saying that you need 2 or 3 hours factory visit without any expectation. Say to the client saying that, sir, I want to come to your factory. I want to talk to the managers. No expectation. Okay. You go to the factory and Praveen, I know Mr. Praveen, he is an industry expert. And the moment you get into the factory, you could see a lot of issues on your own eyes. You can find out. Now, if you know the industry 4.0 concept, you can easily match, right? This issue, this company is running with the last 10 years. I can easily address through 3D printing, or I can easily address through data science. Okay, take the formulation on your head and go to this, president or vice president, saying that, sir, your company is running with the issues for last 10 years, and this is a solution. Go for data science, invest 50,000 rupees, you find the answer. Okay. So the moment you talk about 50,000, 1 lakh, any company will go for industry 4.0. Even if they don't get benefit, they will say, yeah, go and do that one. Okay. So the answer is go for proactive approach, go to the client place and identify the issues and give the solution to the industry. We can talk in a separate call, Mr. Praveen. Yeah. Uh, okay. D. Savita, PwC, does it give any internship to students? Okay. See, unfortunately, all big consulting companies, right? They give internship only to the top business school students in the world. For example, IIMs or the foreign university business school, they give the internship, but they do not give internship for tier 2 or tier 3 universities in India. This is my understanding. Okay. Thank you for an interesting. Okay, fine. What is the difference between industries 4.0 and 3.0? The 3.0, the earlier revolution, it revolved mostly based on the chip, microchip, right? That was the birthplace for the industrial automation and computer numerical control machines, and even the evolution of the laptops and different computing devices. But industry 4.0 is a combination of technologies, right? You talk about blockchain, you talk about different technologies. That is the main difference. So one technology in industry 3.0, multiple technologies in industry 4.0. Yeah. Mr. Xavier, sir, I 4.0 components are imported or manufactured here. Oh my goodness. Okay, these are framework available, sir. Okay, we need to leverage. Okay, we need to leverage data science for manufacturing industry, produce the good products. Okay, you need to implement 3D printing in manufacturing industry, start producing the good quality products. So having said that, it is concept. We can't manufacture or import into India. Thanks for your insights. Okay. So we have few more minutes. Any participant got any question you can ask, otherwise we can wind up. Okay, we got one more question. So yes, Mr. Okay, we go. How Lean Six Sigma going to help? See, the Lean Six Sigma and Lean Consulting and total quality management are process tools, right? It is going to make your company's process more robust, okay, more meaningful, okay. But even though if you apply the Lean Consulting and Lean Six Sigma, your process become more robust. But how to automate the process? Without automation, the robust process supposed to be managed by the human beings, right? The whole idea about Industry 4.0 is how to automate without human intervention. That is the main difference. Stringent ROI period. This came from Mr. Omir Singh. Obviously, if I run the company, if I am the managing director, if I want to invest 10 lakh rupees, I want to get the benefit within 2 or 3 years. Why not? Why should I invest in it without knowing the ROI period? So this is the genuine expectation of all industries. But some companies are too greedy. For example, Dell, within 11 months they want to get ROI, which is not possible at all in practical sense. 2 or 3 years is very much reasonable, I would say. Does it have impact on employability? I told many times, yes. Anyone knows about Industry 4.0 or expected Industry 4.0, their survival rate is very, very high in coming days in the marketplace. It could be fresh graduates or any lateral consultants. Start learning at least one technological components, your job will be secure for next few years or few decades. Yes, Dr. Segar, I think there is no more questions from the participants. You can go ahead.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Alagiri. Thank you. Thank you very much for a lecture. It's very excellent. We enjoyed all 3 days. I hope the participants have enjoyed and they learned a lot of the new things actually. Even being professors, they are teaching the subjects, what are the things in the syllabus. I think all the 3 days you taught the reality in the industry. Okay. And on behalf of management and all the participants and the faculty members of our own Dhanalakshmi Srinivasan College of Engineering and Technology, I thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Segar. It is my pleasure because now we are going to the industry on daily basis. We want to share the industry experience with the participants here. Okay. So, if you have any helpful to the participants, I'll be more than happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all the participants.
Yeah. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.